5 sullen words yellowed their murky way through the tungsten water, its underside gleaming with concentric rings of undisclosed locations in the far-flung vistas of the hungry herds of diamond dreams that grazed upon the silent sentences pouring from the ears of tomorrow's misunderstandings. Along the way of the walls of the entrance to the solitary hill, a magnetic flower, all priest and no poet, began to unfold its significance under the lobes of the carrion fish gathered along the volcanic shores of the crooked paths of the western rains, carpeted in silver mist to evade the call of the clockmaker's clumsy wife. Meanwhile, among the dark spidery shrubs that peopled the small island of Lost Return, the tall shadow began to sway among the radical philosophies whose electronic footprints led to a fountain of invisibility, the crest of which cut deep into the saturated soil with exhaustion, ready to overturn the horizontal lines barring access to the secret teachings. Flying hands flocked towards this little scene, orbiting the memory of the moon and reaching through the sulfur membrane separating the past that had never happened from the future that could never be, a strange gift from the guardian of the gate whose powers of persuasion gave legendary status to the wild boar at the opening of the mouth of the mummified moon, lost in the lurid laughter filling the cubic centimetre room. A profound regret slumbered its tortuous path through the lecture of the falling ashes, drifting like snow after the abandoning of the air wing behind the gravitational field of the lesser orchids, nodding in the motorised breeze which wound lazily across the undermining of the final tree of no return. Behind the foot of the harbour bell, a sovereign ministry spread its grey solemnity through the tumbling pebbles and across the flamboyant shoreline to the argument that raged between the fur dwellers, thick with vanity, and the archers striding arrogantly across the newly resurrected street that uncoiled as it slowly dried in the steady lamplight, dripping with emotion and entirely focused upon the source of the pungent delay. Observing all this from some distance, an indistinguishable layer of atmosphere unpeeled furtively from the columns of numbers that spread across the stiffened pages of the bolted stable door, then gave way to an avalanche of indefinable articles broadcast on all frequencies across the remote battlefields where the dying embraced their sandalwood boxes and issued curses at the elasticity of the local time waves and their apparent loss of significance that had poured through leaking pipes and into the interior of the primary vessel. A calendar flapped, and from under a mound of calcite crystals, an iridescent worm stretched and shivered across the motionless horizon, which could only reveal the sudden nature of strings of blinking eyes tightened across the edge of the background. A brief awareness of cosmic ellipses and imaginary planes that had cascaded with the force of revelation through the valleys of extinction. Armoured with this belief, tendrils of joy curled round the bars of the mysterious gates that blocked the remembrance of future sufferings in the sunken hollows in the palms of the hands and the temples of the skull. They came in threes, those forgotten causeways, across the inky pools of midnight water that had formed beneath the spectral glass hung from the perpendicular windows of this unholy place, blessed with a natural beauty and an intricacy of shimmering patterns projected through the fragrant air. Last words tinkled in the granite breeze, feathering the filigree walls with images of ever-shifting architectures in the cities of the clouds, a discussion of the probabilities of eternal formation against the hidden values of the arboreal philosophers, their fingers weaving countless iterations against the fluid skies. Ideas showered through the penumbral corridors as vast tiered audiences gazed in admiration at the academies of the stretching stars. The ladders slowly appeared and they made their way back down.